You know, it's amazing sometimes the games that we play. And when I say the games we play, I don't necessarily mean the card games or the basketball games or the billiard games or anything like that, although all of those would be included. I mean the games that we play emotionally and psychologically and relationally, even politically, geopolitically, and sociologically. Those games that we play as well, they all do have something in common with the games that we play, say, with our grandchildren, 5 and 6 year old grandchildren, like we did this weekend when we played Uno. And this other game that I've got to tell you about, because I don't know if you've seen this or not, but pizza, cat, goat, fish, cheese, something. You need to know about this. Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast. 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. So we played this game where the back of the card has a list on it, and I think it's like taco, and then a cat, and then a goat, and then pizza, and then a cheese, and that's all that's on the back of the card. On the front, there's a picture of one of those elements, but then there's also these things they call narwhal, and then groundhogs, and then gorillas, and I think that was it. Yeah. So the way you played this game, especially with a few little boys, 7 and 9, my grandsons, those particular ones. And in this game, the object is you flip over your card without looking at the bottom. It's you all get dealt the same amount of cards, but you don't get to know what's in your stack. And so literally, it goes around the table like any other card game, and you flip your card over, and whatever appears, you still have to say the name of the thing in the order of the list on the back of the card. So even if you flip it over and the picture is, say, a gorilla, words you say are whatever's in line. You just speak what's in the line. So if the person next to you said taco, then next you have to say cat. And then the next person has to say goat, and then cheese, and then pizza. And it has to stay in that order as you go around, no matter what the card is that you flip over. But when the card that you flip over matches the word that you say, then that card becomes in play, meaning everybody has to react to it. So if I say taco and I flip over a taco, it's like slapjacks. Remember that? Everybody has to throw their hand on it. And once everybody's thrown their hand on it, the last person to put their hand on the deck, well, they get to take the whole stack of cards. Which, like in golf, the higher your number, the more of a loser you are. So you don't want all the cards. You want to get rid of all the cards. You want to be the last person or the first person to get rid of your cards, and not the person holding all the cards. So you've got to have quick reflexes, which means you got to think fast, which also means what we're playing on is cognitive dissonance. Because the word coming out of your mouth and the picture on the card may or may not match. But when they do match, that's your trigger to actually do something. And so when you have these little boys that are not making any sense relationship, there's no logic one way or the other to them right now, that you're saying one thing and seeing another thing, or saying one thing and doing another thing, that's irrelevant to them. But the game is still played in the same way. You've got to match or mismatch the item that's on the table with the word that you're saying. Even if you flip over a card that has a picture of a cat, if the word that you're supposed to say is goat, then you have to comply with the word according to the rules and say goat. Now, if the word you say is goat and you flip over a narwhal, then you have to put your hands on your head like a unicorn horn and then slap the table. And if you do this when it's supposed to be a gorilla, or you do this when it's supposed to be a chipmunk, or you do none of these before you slap, then you still have to take all the cards. Now, I realize this is a hand-eye coordination game, and this is a game about reflexes, and this is a game about paying close attention to the details that are going on. But it also strikes me as odd that it is a game that plays on cognitive dissonance. And then I think how many times in various forms of media we see exactly the same kind of game being played. Like the reporter who says it's mostly a peaceful protest, but in the camera's angle, we see people running and screaming and fights going on and buildings burning and property being destroyed, but it's mostly a peaceful protest. Well, at the very least, if you're going to yell taco, put down the picture of a taco, for heaven's sake. If you're going to yell peaceful protest, point to a peaceful protest, not buildings being burned. Because what you're doing is trying to ask us to believe something that's different than what we're seeing. That's not fair. Training someone to recognize the rules backwards from what the rules actually are, that's not fair. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, why would you train somebody to see what isn't there, or to not see what is there that they already see? And I know on a regular basis we do the same thing. We do it as leaders. We do it as parents. We tell our children phrases like, do as I say and not as I do. We tell our loved ones that we love them and that we behave in ways that don't express love. We tell our loved ones how precious they are to us, and then we demonstrate ways of behaving that, well, they don't seem like that person is a priority. We say to ourselves, I want to have more friends, but then we're not friendly to the people who are in our lives. We talk about how so-and-so didn't call me or email me, and then we realize, well, I haven't called or emailed them either. I haven't sent them a birthday card in I don't know how many years, but I didn't get one from them. So which one's the chicken and which one's the egg? Who's supposed to go first? How often do you expect someone to send you a birthday card if you didn't send them one? Not even a Facebook wish for their birthday, or a Merry Christmas, or a Happy Holidays. See, it's ironic that we as adults, as leaders and parents, and just other human beings in relationship with each other, we would laugh at a little game like taco, cat, goat, fish, pizza, cheese. But we wouldn't necessarily see that we do the same thing, that incongruence, that inconsistency, that cognitive dissonance that we create when we say one thing and we do another. Sure, it's a wild game to play when you've got a grandma who's got slower reflexes and has to think through what she's saying and is really having a hard time with the fact that what we're doing doesn't make any sense. And you've got a 7-year-old who just wants to slap everybody's hand, so he's totally cool with, he doesn't even mind taking all the cards as long as he gets to slap somebody's hand. And so this process has some flaws in it to begin with, but the rules of the game alone are strange and incongruent. But so are the rules in relationships and politics and leadership and business and sales and marketing and global geopolitics. We see the same thing, that the rules are inconsistent with the outcome that they expect to see. I mean, we treat each other in different ways than what we would expect to be treated. Wait, isn't that the golden rule? Treat everyone the way you want to be treated? Yeah. Strange, isn't it? But we don't do that. It's even more strange that we have these expectations of the way we want to be treated, but that's not the way we treat other people. Again, it's that inconsistency, that incongruity, it's the lack of bearing, the ability to follow rules. Because for so long we've been told, that's a taco. Nope, sorry, that's a goat. No, that's a pizza. Slap it anyway because, well, goat is what I said and that's what I meant. And even if that's not what you see, just follow the rules. As leaders, I want to challenge you to be consistent between what you say and what you do. Don't play the games that look like, well, I don't care what you're seeing. I don't care if it even makes any sense to you. I just want you to be able to, follow the rules. I want you to be able to do what I tell you to do, what's supposed to be done. Not what makes sense, not even what you've seen me do. Those don't count. I just want you to do what I told you to do because eventually that's what benefits me the best. As leaders, we've got to be consistent. Challenge people to do what you want them to do by, leading by example. Doing what it is that you want them to do so that they know what they're supposed to do. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day. Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast. 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith